It's Friday, July 4th.
Accidents happen, and I think that's one of the things coming out of this.
Wildfire season as BC RCMP officers apologize for an out-of-control fire that has Lytton on edge. Manitoba is telling people in Lin Lake they must leave their homes again.
The accused can have a trial with a jury, and to be sure that she have a fair trial.
A more serious charge of criminal negligence against the Montreal mother accused of abandoning her 3-year-old daughter in Ontario.
It's convoluted in the sense that there's a lot of information thrown at investigators in a very short amount of time that we need to try and unpack and get some clarity on.
Peel police are investigating a complex 2-car collision in Mississauga, sending a mom and 4 children to hospital. They are all expected to survive.
It's going to make this country into a rocket ship. It's going to be really great.
A major win for U.S. President Donald Trump. He will sign his spending bill into law today, July 4th, after a furious push through Congress. Stay with us, Canada. Your morning starts right now. Good morning, Canada. Welcome to Your Morning. I'm Anne-Marie Mediwake.
Good morning. I'm Lindsey Deluce.
And I'm Kelsey McEwen, and it feels like the third Friday.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it is.
Yeah, it's a strange week.
It's the second one. I know, this has been such a weird week.
I know,
but here we are. We've made it to Friday, everybody. And here's your Friday news stories that we're following closely. People living in Lin Lake in Manitoba are being told they need to leave again because of fire. The mandatory evacuation order begins today, but officials haven't given a specific time. They did say this in a social media post Thursday night. The town saying that the fires are threatening some hydro lines and highways, which could make travel more complicated. Water treatment and emergency services will also be affected by this. Officials are asking people who are able to leave on their own, do it ASAP and head to Brandon, which is about normally a 10-hour drive south. Right now, there are 60 wildfires burning in Manitoba. 17 of those are out of control.
Tremendously unfortunate. We meet certain standards with the maintenance of our equipment, and at this particular point, it does appear that equipment was simply failed.
Oh, yeah. The BC RCMP taking responsibility for an out-of-control wildfire burning north of Lytton. So here's what happened. Dive team officers had been at a nearby lake. They were looking for a missing swimmer, and they were towing their boat on a trailer. RCMP say one of the trailer's wheels, it flew off, landed in a ditch, that one. But as it did that, the sparks ignited a fire in the brush that rapidly spread. The fire has now grown to 130 hectares, which is about 8.5 times the size of Quebec's Citadel. In other news, the head of General Motors Canada says the auto industry needs to stay nimble during the ongoing U.S. trade war.
We have to remain agile and ready to respond to whatever eventuates here.
The head of GM Canada was one of the auto industry leaders who met with Prime Minister Mark Carney this week. Well, he didn't share details about what they talked about exactly. He did say there is a sense of optimism with trade talks happening between Canada and the U.S. Auto sales, as we know, have been hit hard with the uncertainty, though, still looming. But dealers do say they're pretty worried about the supply chain being able to keep up with demand for new cars. The Montreal mother accused of abandoning her 3-year-old daughter on the side of a highway, well, she's now facing a new charge.
We receive other evidence that I cannot tell you today, but we have enough to put this charge.
The mother was in court yesterday for a bail hearing. She was already facing a charge of child abandonment. She now also faces a more serious charge of criminal negligence. You'll remember her 3-year-old daughter was reported missing June 15th. After a massive search, she was found alive 3 days later in Ontario, about 150 kilometers away from her home in Montreal. The mother's bail hearing resumes today. A suspended Nova Scotia RCMP officer is facing more sexual assault charges.
Extremely disturbing. It's embarrassing. I apologize to Nova Scotians. I want to reassure Nova Scotians that we treat this extremely seriously. We have robust internal processes to address this behavior.
40-year-old Constable William McNutt didn't appear in court Thursday, but charges were read before a judge. So he faces 9 charges in connection with 4 investigations involving 3 women. The charges include 7 counts of sexual assault between 2019 and 2024. He became an officer in 2021. The first woman came forward in 2023. McNutt is suspended without pay. His employment status will be dealt with after criminal proceedings are finished. A mom and 4 children are in hospital after a 2-vehicle crash in Mississauga. This happened yesterday afternoon. All of them are expected to survive.
The scene is convoluted in the sense that there's 2 locations. We have 2 separate incidents that are connected, and here it's quite difficult to understand exactly what transpired based on the positioning of those vehicles.
So the crash involved this red Honda Civic and a black Range Rover. The woman who was driving the Civic is the mother of 2 of the children in the vehicle. The 2 other children were her children's friends. Police say before the crash, there was some sort of incident at a gym, which was 4 kilometers from the site of this crash. And at the gym, that involved a Range Rover and at least 1 more vehicle. Police don't think this was a carjacking. The people in the Range Rover fled. Police are still looking for them. People are being reminded to stay safe around water after 2 people drowned in less than a month in Ottawa rivers.
The depth in the Ottawa River varies drastically, so if you're not a strong swimmer, there is current still in the water.
On Wednesday, a man drowned in the Ottawa River while trying to save his son, who had gone underwater. The child was rescued and was taken to hospital in stable condition. This happened away from the designated swim area. This was in Westboro Beach. A little more than 2 weeks ago, an 18-year-old drowned while swimming with friends in the Rideau River. The Life Saving Society urging people to swim in areas with lifeguards and stay in those designated swimming areas. U.S. President Donald Trump plans to sign his big, beautiful spending bill into law today.
The motion is adopted.
Long sesh, for sure. The House of Representatives passed the bill by 4 votes after a marathon debate. So what's in the bill? It's a mix of tax cuts and other spending that is expected to add $3.3 trillion to the U.S. national debt. It includes historic cuts to programs like Medicaid and food stamps. In a bit of relief for Canadian investors, we were talking about this on the show, there is a section of the bill that would have raised taxes on foreign investments. That has now been scrapped. President Trump will sign the bill as part of 4th of July celebrations happening today. Sotheby's will soon auction off the original prototype from the Hermes Birkin bag. The bag was famously crafted for and worn by singer and actress Jane Birkin in 1985. So do you know the story? No. She had a chance meeting with then Hermes CEO on a plane where she complained about her overstuffed bag. And the rest was history. Jane Birkin's leather bag is bigger than regular Birkins. It includes a removable strap, unlike commercial models. So more room.
I'm so curious to know what it will go for. See,